Rotary Central help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Oh, Cayman moon,
The voice of the Cayman Islands, Radio Cayman.
shining down from above.
We love our listeners.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Talk Today is also brought to you by Mike's Builders. Call 923-0706. Mike Builders. They make it happen.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands foremost listeners participation program.
Talk Today.
What's on your mind, Cayman? If you're ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Discussing current events and local news, community spotlights, hot topics, listener stories, cultural and historical discussions, environmental issues, fun and lighthearted topics, guest interviews. Cayman, basically anything you want to talk about, we are ready to listen. Here's your guest host, Orrett Connor.
Good afternoon and welcome to Talk Today. I'm your guest host, Orrett Connor, and we have about 9 minutes to talk. If we want to open up the phone lines, at 12:30 we will continue our discussions about Preparedness Month in the Cayman Islands. Of course, the month of June has been designated as Preparedness Month in the Cayman Islands. Actually, it's a 6-week initiative, and it is going to end on the 14th of June. Actually started on the 1st of May, ends on the 14th of June. So we will be having those discussions. If you have any time on your hand now, after we return from this intro, we can take a few phone calls before we start our discussions.
Talk Today is reminding you
to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
And now, back to Talk Today.
Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome back to Talk Today. What is on your mind this afternoon? If you want to talk about it, we have a few minutes that we can. If not, we can share with you a few press releases from the various government departments as well. For instance, the Premier, Honorable Andre Ebanks, will be joining the Attorney General and the Cayman delegates at the FATF plenary, and also engage stakeholders in London. Premier and Minister for Financial Services and Commerce, the Honorable Andre Ebanks, MP, will join the Attorney General, the Honorable Samuel Bulgin, and Cayman Islands delegation to the upcoming Financial Action Task Force plenary in France on the 12th and 13th of June. Representatives from the Cayman Islands Monetary Authority will be part of the Cayman contingent, taking part in policy and compliance discussions facilitated by the FATF as the global anti-money laundering, counter-financing of terrorism, and counter-proliferation financing standard-setting body. It is indeed an honor to lead Cayman to its third and final plenary under the FATF regional body's guest initiative. These meetings are an opportunity to participate directly as a guest member in the discussions, express our views, and share our regional experience, Premier Ebanks is quoted as saying. The guest initiative aims to incorporate views and regional perspectives from a broader range of countries at the FATF to strengthen the global fight against illicit financing. The Cayman Islands is progressing its preparations for the FATF's fifth round of mutual evaluation of our anti-money laundering, CFT and CPF regime, and is committed to taking the necessary measures to bolster the effectiveness of our anti-money laundering framework. A mutual evaluation of Cayman's regime by the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force, which supports the FATF's work in the region, is expected to commence approximately 7 months prior to an on-site visit in December of 2027. So our next on-site visit is in December of 2027. The first annual evaluation for any country in the FATF's new round of assessments under its revised methodology will be discussed at this plenary. Given that our own assessment draws nearer, this is an exceptional opportunity to observe the evaluation feedback of our global peers, contribute directly as a guest member, and discern useful insights that we can apply going forward. We recognize there is a lot of work ahead of us, and engaging with our peers and the FATF helps our efforts to remain in good stead. Those are the words of Premier Andre Ebanks. In addition, during the plenary, a tribute to the late former FATF America's Joint Group Co-Chair and former head of the Cayman Islands Monetary Authority Anti-Money Laundering Division, Miss Judy Ann Miles, is expected to take place, which the Cayman delegation will have the honor to join. At the conclusion of the plenary, the Cayman delegation will stay in France to take part in a FATF Technical Assistance Pair Exchange meeting on the 14th of June. The Premier has been invited to deliver remarks at this meeting regarding Cayman's technical assistance framework. In line with the FATF's inclusive approach to supporting countries across the global network of more than 200 countries, the meeting will focus on capacity building to demonstrate the impact of the anti-money laundering CFT initiative and ensure sustained support for these efforts around the world. Before returning to Cayman on the 18th of June, the Premier will travel to London for meetings with key stakeholders and members of the United Kingdom Parliament on the 16th and 17th of June, including UK Minister of State for Europe, North America and Overseas Territories, Stephen Doughty. For the period of the 10th to the 18th of June, the acting Premier will be the Honourable Gary Rutter, MP. The acting Deputy Premier will be Honourable Ralston Anglin, MP. And the acting Minister for Financial Services and Commerce will be the Honorable Wayne Panton, MP. So, again, we see the Cayman Islands, government of the Cayman Islands, including the Attorney General, the Monetary Authority, engaging with stakeholders to ensure that we keep up to speed, that we meet our other stakeholders as well to know what is going on, what to be expected, so that there are no surprises at the end of the day. And of course, the next round of evaluations for the Cayman Islands would be in 2027 as well. With that, we're going to take a commercial break so we can get our guests into the studio, our panelists who will be talking about Preparedness Month in the Cayman Islands that commenced on the 1st of May, ends on the 14th of June. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Hungry? Need Subway any time of the day?
Yeah.
We've got you covered. Subway at Anderson Square, Centennial Towers, and Countryside Shopping Village is open 24/7, serving up fresh, delicious subs anytime you need them. And for your weekend cravings, West Shore Center is also open 24 hours on Friday nights and until 1 a.m. on Saturdays, because it's never too late for a great meal. Skip the line and order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app, or get your favorites delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Fresh, fast, and always here when you need us. Subway. Eat fresh.
This summer, choose from 10 international destinations for your vacation with Cayman Airways. Explore New York, discover Denver, roam Los Angeles, play in Tampa, shop in Miami, tour Panama, uncover Havana, hike in La Ceiba, jam in Kingston, or relax in Montego Bay. Connecting flights are also available from the sister islands. Cayman Airways offers more international non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline, and the lowest rates for checked bags. Book today at CaymanAirways.com, download our new mobile app, or call Cayman Airways reservations on 949-2311. Come fly with us and relax with your uniquely Caymanian airline.
The Passport and Corporate Services Office is urging the public to ensure their passports are valid and secured ahead of hurricane season, which begins Sunday, 1st of June, 2025. The public should check the validity of their passports, verify entry requirements, apply or renew passports and visas early and safely. Store important documents in waterproof containers. For more information, contact 345-649-7678 or email passportandcorporate@gov.ky.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. As I announced earlier, we are talking about Preparedness Month, which is a 6-week initiative to assist our communities with getting ready for what was the upcoming, but what is now the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season. So the preparedness period, actually 6 weeks rather than a month, ran from the 1st of May and it goes on until the 14th of June. And of course, the 1st of June to the 30th of November is the Atlantic hurricane season. Also, I think this Saturday, hazard management will be one of their pop-ups. We can talk about that later on. But meanwhile, we have representatives from the Cayman Islands Fire Service in the person of Mr. Randy Rankin, Mr. Roy Charlton, and Mr. Henry Ebanks. We expect a representative from the Cayman Islands Regiment to come in later on. Also in the studio with us, we have from the Cayman Islands Coast Guard, Mr. Robert Scotland. Gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Hey, good afternoon.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Just one correction. It's Roy Charlton from Cayman Islands Fire Service, Deputy Chief.
Okay.
Chief Rankin is off on the block with the exercise.
Oh, that's right. Yes. My apologies there. Yes. So what we want to do also is that, while we're going to be talking about Preparedness Month, it is also important for us to let our listeners and our viewers understand the role that your various organizations or entities play, not only during the hurricane season, but how you impact our lives to begin with. And we can start with the Coast Guard, Commander Scotland.
Good afternoon, Mr. O'Connor, and good afternoon to your listening audience. Robert Scotland, Commandant of the Cayman Islands Coast Guard. Just a brief overview of what the Cayman Islands Coast Guard does. We're responsible for the maritime safety and security of the island. During hurricane season, should the NEOC be activated, we form part of what is known as the Emergency Response Cluster.
Mm-hmm.
Within the Emergency Response Cluster, there is a support team which focuses on search and rescue, both urban search and rescue. By urban, we mean land-based, and then there's the maritime search and rescue. Obviously, we're responsible for the maritime section, and we work closely with the fire service, who have responsibility for the urban search and rescue. And with that, I'll turn over to Mr. Charlton.
Yes, Deputy Chief, Mr. Charlton.
Yeah, good afternoon to the listening audience. Good afternoon to Mr. Connor. Just as Commander Scotland has said, we form a part of the search and rescue cluster within the NEOC. Our regular duties are land-based search and rescue in the event of we have any missing persons or anything like that. During or before, even after the hurricane, sometimes people get misplaced in the chaos, and we're there for that support. Supported by the regiment, of course, in liaison with police as always. We have a collaborative unit that we operate from. And fire service, we pretty much do just about anything that we're called for. We try to assist in any way that we possibly can. So, with that, it's business as usual for us.
Okay.
That I can pass on to police. They can put their part.
Yes, Royal Cayman Islands Police Service. And if you introduce yourself for the public.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
And my name is Wade Chase. I'm a Chief Inspector within the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service. My day job is the Head of Training and Leadership Development. However, during the hurricane season and as part of the National Hazard Management Plan, I fall within the Emergency Response Cluster, Security and Law Enforcement. Now, during this period, police play a very important part working with our sister agencies and other agencies in the cluster in terms of security and law enforcement. Security for the shelters, as well as maintaining law and order. We as an organization also have our own hurricane plan that falls within the plan, that it will cover areas such as curfews and other things should the emergency require that. Thank you.
Okay, so let's go back to the Cayman Islands Fire Service and talk about some of the things that you do before a storm in terms of alerting people, ensuring that they're prepared.
Well, one of the things for us is that, of course, we have to have our plans in place first and foremost before we can assist anyone. And our senior management team have already started to put all these plans in place as far as strategically placing our personnel and notifying them where they'd be posted in the event that we get any threat of a storm or anything of the sort that our NIAC will be open. We've started servicing, essential tools that we would use in an event like this, like for search and rescues. We have trees down, poles down, a number of different things. We have our chainsaws that we would take out this time of year and make sure that they're all functioning. Other stuff, and it's just for us, it's basically trying to educate the people with our fire safety team when they go out, in the sense that, in preparations, let's not wait until the storm is upon us to try and batten up your house or trim the trees that's near to your weatherhead, your electrical wires and stuff like that. One of the things that we try to encourage as well is that if you're going to, for lighting purposes, if you lose current, try to stock up on batteries, flashlights, those kind of things. Try to stay away from candles and all those kind of things because, in past we've had people who, I'll burn a candle, but then they forget that they have a candle burning. And in the heat of things, then you've created a different situation or a different scenario. And so we try to encourage all these things as well, including with generators and stuff like that. I mean, we can't emphasize on that enough that, just about every household nowadays have a generator. Just make sure that where you're storing your generator or where you're going to operate your generator, open space, you don't have any of the exhaust fumes that's entering back the house. Storage for your fuels and stuff like that. Try not to store them in an enclosed area where the fumes itself can give off, hazardous things to your health. So these are some of the things that we try to get out there from an early and just be prepared. And let's not wait till last minute. Listen to the radio. The reliable sources is one of the things that we've also found ourselves in situations with where, if you get that threat to say, well, okay, you're in a flood zone, we may need you to evacuate based on what we're seeing here with this hurricane or with the storm, that you're going to get a lot of rain. You may be flooded. Let's not wait. Let's not, take the chance of, all right, I'm staying, I'm not leaving home. But then when we have sustained winds at 40 miles an hour and water is reaching your cabinet, you realize, oh, I need to get out. It's impossible for us to get out at that time without putting ourselves at risk to try and save someone. So these are just some of the things that we try to encourage people. Pay attention to the warning signs. Pay attention to HMCI when they give out, the bulletins and stuff like that, and just be prepared.
And you mentioned, the difficulty, once a storm has is ongoing, difficulty for you to come out. I remember during Hurricane Ivan, for instance, persons who didn't heed, the call to either go to a shelter or go to someplace safe, getting all sorts of calls for people from people to be rescued. But by that time, the winds were, wind and rain was simply too much for that to be done. So you can't really overemphasize the importance of early preparation and ensuring that you're where you need to be.
Yeah, and like I said, that's the key for us because, at the end of the day, we don't want to feel helpless. We're here to serve the public, but at the same time, we have to think our safety, the team's safety as far as when it comes to rescuing anyone. So if that whole scenario can be avoided, is what we encourage. And like I said, there's a lot of time that you have ahead of you. Most times a storm just don't pop up overnight. So you have time to prepare. Let's not wait till the last minute. Let's get everything that you essentially need in place. Have a evacuation plan for you and your family. How are you going to get out of this area in the event that, you get storm surge or you get flooding or you get a pole down? How are you going to leave the area? How are you going to get out of your house? And all these things you need to sit down and discuss with your family to say, this is what's going to take place in the event of a storm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Come on, Scotland, if you can talk about.
No, I just wanted to come in on the tail end of that. I mean, we are 10 days into the hurricane season. I would implore people not to wait until an impending hurricane is announced to rush to the grocery store or start trying to implement your last minute plans. From the first day of June, we should, if not before, we should actually be taking stock of what is inside of our homes. What do we need to have on hand in the event that a hurricane just pop up on us. I think the common theme that you'll hear going forward is prepare. Do not wait until the last minute.
And of course, we have so many maritime assets here in the Cayman Islands as well. What would be your advice to them in terms of preparation as well?
Identify where you're going to keep your vessel. And a lot of that will have to do on the direction that the hurricane is taking, whether it's going to the south of the island, to the north of the island, or in some cases, it may be coming directly from the south going north. Once you've identified that area, make sure that area is not a place where if you do moor your vessel and it does come loose, it's going to pose a threat to other people. In the past, we've had instances where people will moor their vessels within the Governor's Creek area. Some of those vessels break away and then they end up on the back lawn of other people's homes or actually inside of homes. You've just put another family or another group of people at risk. So have consideration as well for people that are around you. Think carefully about where you're going to moor your vessels, where you're going to store your vessels. And most importantly, if a hurricane is coming, do not go out on the water.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. What do we say to those persons who would want to remain on board their vessel? You've had instances where people have made that decision, unfortunately, to their detriment.
Well, I would say that I would caution strongly against doing that. And I think in recent memory, the only fatality that we've actually had was because somebody decided to unwisely spend time on a vessel.
That's correct. Gentlemen, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we're going to hear some more from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, Mr. Chase, in relation to the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service as well. We know they call you guys for everything at times. So we'll hear some more from you. Folks, don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Water Authority Cayman advises the public of a planned service interruption on Crew Road between the intersections with Legacy Drive and Grand Harbor and Edgewater Way, including all side roads, to facilitate infrastructure upgrades. Service will be interrupted between the hours of 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. on Sunday, 15th June. The Water Authority apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause and appreciates the public's understanding.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. I'm your guest host, Orrett Connor, and we're talking about Hurricane Preparedness Month. We're actually in the hurricane season now, which commenced on the 1st of June. And the Preparedness Month ran actually from the 1st of May and goes on until the 14th of June. So we're talking with Commander Scotland from the Cayman Islands Coast Guard, also from the Cayman Islands Fire Service, Deputy Chief Fire Officer, Mr. Roy Charlton, and from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, we have Chief Inspector Wade Chase. So we're going to talk about the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service now, some of their activities before and during hurricane as well.
Okay, thank you. As moving on from Commander Scotland, preparedness. That's the main thing in relation to hurricane season. You can't be too prepared. As an organization, the RCAPS, we be preparing from as early as April, getting all our stock in place and everything so that we can serve the public better in the event that there is a storm or in the event of there's any national emergency that requires our assistance. The major issues, as you say, they call the police for everything. And we try our best to work with our brother and sister agencies in order to be able to facilitate as much as possible, be it our main function would be security and law enforcement. However, we do have persons that are trained across the board in different areas, be it search and rescue or anything else as it is needed. We run a command cadre through the police, which is gold, which is superintendent and above, silver and bronze, which would be chief inspector and inspector, and the bronze commanders, who are the various experts at various levels throughout the organization. We call it subject matter experts that would provide guidance to the gold and silver commanders in their decision making throughout the process. We provide all the security for the shelter in line with the working in line with the regiment as well as the fire service, who are also at mostly shelters. All the shelters?
No, we don't do the shelters.
Some of the shelters.
Yeah. A lot of our guys are stationed within our stations.
But we do work closely with the other agencies and that. The security and law enforcement is also Her Majesty's Prison, where we work with the prison service in order to ensure that security is there before, during, and after the storm as well. And the Cayman Islands Regiment also falls within that aspect of the cluster. Yeah.
I'm going to throw this one out to all of you. Yeah. During hurricane season, how is your scheduling of your officers' vacation and things like that? How is that affected during hurricane season? Do you have to make special arrangements for between June and November in relation to that? Of course, that's the time of the year where you have summer. Kids are off from school. Families want to go on vacation. Yeah. How much does the season impact your scheduling and your decisions?
Well, I think you can appreciate that it's a very delicate balancing act. Yes, we have to retain a sufficient number of persons on the team to do the work, but at the same time we also have to address their family life, a work-life balance. Naturally, if something occurs across all of the agencies, we will call our people back who are on island. And in some cases, if we have sufficient advance notice and they are overseas, we can and we will, if necessary, call them back to the island. But you'll also appreciate that within a 12-month period, people are entitled to their vacation.
Yes.
So again, it is a balancing act, and there is no formula for it. It's a case-by-case basis. Yeah. But you do know that within any period of a year, that 6 month of a year, you need to maintain a staffing level.
Okay. I couldn't have said it better myself. But across these departments, I believe all three will be the same, where we usually keep a register as to who's off island, who's on island, and is a criteria that if you're going to be off island, to let us know ahead of time that you're going to be off island, so we know, because as part of our resources, we will count the persons who are on leave and still on island, that they're readily available to be called out in the event of emergencies and stuff like that.
And do you require to sort of like know where they're going to be in the event that you need to contact them during that period?
Yes, that's part of it.
Okay.
And it's the same thing for fire service. I mean, we're no different from the other agencies. We have a roster that we go by from month to month. And we schedule vacation training. Right now we got 8 guys off in the UK. So, in the event that we had something that was brewing or whatever the case is, we'd give them the option to say, well, look, are you going to come home? Even with that being said, if it's not possible, we still look after their families. Their families become a priority to us in our list of to-do things where we make sure that their homes are secured, the families are looked after, if they need to move to shelters or whatever the case is. So all that is part of our preparedness plan. Like I said, for us, it's business as usual because, work-life balance, people have to have their leave and stuff like that. And the good thing about a hurricane is that we have time to make the adjustments accordingly and to fit whatever profile, and whatever thing that needs to be taking place. So, it's for us, it's business as usual until something brews, and then we make the adjustments. We have our roster already made up, who will go where or whenever in the event that there is a storm or in the event there is something threatening that we'll placement. But, it's no different from other agencies. We have to have that work-life balance.
Do any of you have to deploy any or acquire any special equipment specifically for hurricane season, or whatever you use during the course of your work is what's available?
We have like I said, we have tools that we put away each year. We have a special set of chainsaws that are only specifically put aside for hurricane purposes.
Okay.
I mean, even though we have like chainsaws and different tools that we use on a day-to-day for whatever rescuing or whatever purpose we may need, we have stuff that we put aside specifically for hurricane purposes. And they will come out, they'll be tested late part of May, going into the first week of June, and we'll have them all readily available that if we need to deploy, we can open a storeroom. All right, this equipment goes here, that equipment goes where. The good thing about it, and unfortunately the regiment isn't here yet, but we've made space for them at our central station as well. So we have 2 to 4 guys that are there with one of their heavy equipment. And this is all from learning from Ivan and other different hurricanes as far as debris clearing and stuff like that in the event that we need to go out to rescue and we're not able to do that. They will travel with us and clear the way that we're able to get wherever we need to go. So those are just some of the the working partnerships that we have that makes life a whole lot easier, and it works. It works.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah. Well, we do have batteries, satellite phones, radios, and stuff that are specifically put away and brought out and charged up at a specific time for hurricanes or national emergencies. That's so that there won't be any normal pool, because the normal pool will got its normal wear and tear and everything else. So we do have things specifically, and we have a storage team that works tirelessly during this period to ensure that we have everything in place, be it IT, to make sure equipment and everything is put away safely. Storage team have all the resources. They buy way ahead of time so that they are in a position to do it, as well as vehicles. We have an agreement with the rental car companies where that we get specific type of vehicles to do our patrol during the hurricane, and ours are moved to a place of safety during that period.
And it's pretty much the same for us too, as far as the satellite phones and stuff like that. We have them out already charging and everything tested. We're about to install some base radios now at different stations already, which is already been thing. And it's the same thing for our small vehicles. We had moved them to safer grounds. Usually the agriculture is a place that is high ground and dry, so we'd move like our office staff cars and some of the equipment that we know that we wouldn't use until maybe after the storm, like our trailer pumps and stuff like that, we wouldn't keep at the station because for flooding areas we may need them. So we'd put them to higher ground to battle out the weather, and after that, and we'd collect them up and do what we have to do.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're slightly different in that all of the equipment that we're going to use, we're using during the year. And it's the same equipment that we would use once the all clear is given to get out. We all have satellite radios, satellite phones, and the vessels will stay deployable as long as possible until we need to bring them to shore to ride out the hurricane. And then once that passes, they're on the water again doing damage assessments along the coastline, or if people need rescuing within the canals, we're there for that.
Okay, we have a few more minutes before we go to our 1 o'clock news. We want to talk about the after the storm. That's really the big part. But one of the things that I wanted to ask Mr. Charlton about the fire service that we could probably cover before we go to the news has to do with while I think in listening this morning we have something like 19 shelters throughout the 3 islands. But it is not unusual at times, for persons at the last minute or even during a hurricane to seek shelter, maybe at a police station or at a fire station as well. Something I'm sure that you would discourage because you want people to, to take proactive and preemptive move in terms of ensuring that they're at the right place. But sometimes that does happen, doesn't it?
Yeah, we have had 1 or 2 cases where we have had people who have come to seek shelter because they decided that they didn't want to leave home until the very last minute, and the closest place to get is to the fire station. And we're not going to turn anyone away. We're going to make sure that people are safe. But like you said, we try to encourage people that listen to the warnings, and if it speaks of your area, then specifically to say that it's potential flooding, the storm is carrying a lot of rain or whatever the case is, storm surge or whatever the case is, please make that effort to make yourself ready, available to get to the shelter as soon as possible. And it's for your safety. And not only that, like I said, at the end of the day, we don't want to risk our team having to go out and try to rescue you when we're at a part where we shouldn't be safely operating. So we encourage people to listen to the warnings, heed the warnings. Yeah. I know sometimes, you can be naive to the point, nothing's going to happen. Yes, and you get complacent and you get relaxed. And then at the last minute, I should have really listened to that when it's too late. Don't put yourself in that risk. Get to the safety if you necessarily need to.
Okay, we're going to take a break now for headline news. When we return, we're going to be able to talk for a whole probably 25 minutes without any commercial interruption. So, folks, please stay tuned. When we return, the conversation will continue with Mr. Roy Charlton from the Cayman Islands Fire Service, Commander Robert Scotland from the Cayman Islands Coast Guard, and Chief Inspector Wade Chase from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service. We're talking about Preparedness Month here in the Cayman Islands. Hurricane season started on the 1st of June of this year. Please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
We are Radio Cayman,
covering Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and Grand Cayman.
1 in a million. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Jevi Ebanks. The Department of Vehicle and Driver's Licensing is announcing the temporary closure of its Breakers Inspection Pit on Wednesday, the 18th of June for staff training. All other DVDL locations and departments will remain open, with normal operations resuming on Thursday, the 19th of June. Customers can renew their vehicle and driver's license online on their website at dvdl.gov.ky. In regional news, a Trinidad appeals court has restored the Trinidad $20 million compensation for 9 men acquitted of the 2006 murder of businesswoman Vindra Kuhlman. The ruling overturns a previous decision that blocked the payout over improper services of legal documents. By a 2-1 verdict, the court found that the default judgment was properly served, dismissing what it called fatal omissions in the earlier ruling. Each man is set to receive Trinidad and Tobago $2.1 million for malicious prosecution and wrongful imprisonment. Former Attorney General Anand Ramlogan has criticized his predecessor, Reginald Armour, calling for a public apology over alleged misrepresentation in the case. In other regional news, the Jamaican government is set to debate a new tobacco control bill in Parliament, aiming to strengthen legislation and regulation to align with the World Health Organization Framework's Convention on Tobacco Control. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton emphasized the need for public education, citing new measures on electronic cigarettes, advertising restrictions, and protection for non-smokers. The bill seeks to curb tobacco product sales to minors, ban e-cigarette use in public space, and reduce smoking rates across the country. The government says the legislation fulfills long-standing international obligations and reinforces the harmful effects of tobacco use. That's your latest headlines. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
On the 6th of December, 1960, at 8:20 a.m., the St. Clair Petrolor vessel from National Bulk Carriers was 950 miles off of Trinidad, carrying 29 Caymanians. The ship was rocked by 4 separate explosions in the space of just 30 seconds, causing various parts of the ship to erupt in fire. The first explosion was in the bow of the ship, the second in the number 4 hatch, the third in the number 11 hatch, with the fourth in the aft tunnel doors. Vigorous attempts were made to extinguish the intense flames, but with no success, and the captain gave the signal to abandon ship, and the crew filled up and lowered the 2 remaining lifeboats into the water. Following a head count, it was discovered that 2 crew members were missing and unfortunately were never seen again. The lifeboats were tied together and a sea anchor was cast out to prevent the boats from drifting too quickly. The St. Clair sank that afternoon, and the men continued to drift at sea for hours until being rescued that night by the English ship named the Mary Ellen Conway with an Italian crew. The men were transported to Brazil, where they were later flown home via Trinidad and Jamaica.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. We are talking about Hurricane Preparedness Month in the Cayman Islands, and one more time I will repeat it. Actually, it's 6 weeks rather than a month. It ran from the 1st of May, goes on until the 14th of June. In the studio, we have Deputy Chief Fire Officer, Mr. Roy Charlton, from the Cayman Islands Coast Guard, Commander Robert Scotland. From the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, we have Chief Inspector Wade Chase, and we have now been joined by Mr. Nathan Dack from the Cayman Islands Regiment. And Mr. Dack, first of all, let me say good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us.
Okay, before you joined us, we were talking about each respective entity's role before and during a hurricane. So we're going to give you an opportunity to cover both of those, and then we're going to go on to activities, what you do after a hurricane as well. So the mic is yours.
Thank you. So prior to a hurricane, that's when we start standing up the regiment. So once we know the forecast for a storm is predicted to impact the Cayman Islands, then we start putting in place the members of staff, the equipment, all the capabilities that we need, including standing up our reservists. So that means, a few days out, we start ensuring that those bits of equipment are put in place. We're deployed out where we need to be, whether that's the sister islands. Typically in Grand Cayman, we operate out of two areas, primarily Georgetown and also East End, and then any other shelters around those areas that we might need to staff. So that happens in conjunction with all of the different emergency services and responses and under coordination from hazard management. So that might include standing up shelters, preparing those shelters to receive individuals from the public, and then also just our own preparations in terms of putting our own capabilities in place to help during and after.
Mm-hmm. And what sort of complement you're looking at, staff complement as far as the regiment, including your reserves?
So for full-time staff, we currently have 13 individuals, and then we have about 87 reservists to bring on. So typically we don't get 100% turnout. It depends on who's on island, who's available, who might be pulled away by other priorities. But we always trying to encourage our reservists to make sure that, especially during hurricane season, they're available. They have these understandings in place with their families, with their employers. They're making the hurricane plans so that they're able to come out and operate. We need to.
Okay. Earlier, before you got here, Deputy Chief Charlton invoked your the regiment's name in terms of the work that you collaborate, the things that you collaborate with on as well. You want to speak to those?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, one of the regiment's primary remits is providing this surge capacity for other agencies, whether it's the fire service, RCIPS, anyone in terms of government entities that require additional support in a major incident. So that varies from hurricane responses, tropical storms, etc. And so part of that is well managed by Hazard Management Cayman Islands, and that can take all kinds of different forms, really. An important part of that is training together, making sure we're all working together in terms of developing our own systems and procedures to make sure that things happen efficiently when we get that call.
Okay. So, gentlemen, we're going to talk now about after an event, after a hurricane.
If
Commander Scotland, go right ahead.
Just before we get into the aftermath, what a lot of people do not realize is the work that the emergency services have to put in before the event. As you can appreciate, there will be a lot of people at grocery stores, banks, roads will be congested. People will be trying to leave their residences to get to shelters. All of that puts a demand and a strain on emergency service entities. And that is where, Wade will have issues with traffic, trying to maintain proper control over traffic, people driving reckless, congestion, long lines at grocery stores. That comes with, people with short tempers trying to manage people. And then there'll also be people going to banks to take out cash, and that comes with its own concerns. So there's a lot of effort and resources put in by emergency services pre-impact. They're also staged during, waiting to respond, and then as you're getting into it now, the aftermath. So it's just to give the public a general reminder that we need them to act responsible, leading in, during, and definitely after. From our perspective, from the maritime perspective, we will have people who irresponsibly decide to go surfing, stay by the shoreline, not realizing that as the weather is deteriorating, it's coming at a very fast rate, the likelihood of them being pulled into the water is extremely high. The same with post. So again, act responsible, think smart.
And just to piggyback on the end of Commander Scotland's, with the whole surf is up, we find that a lot in the sports area when the weather starts to come in. And that puts us as well, because we offer support to them with our ISAR unit. And, it's just unnecessary that people would actually take the time to think, well, all right, it's a good time to go surfing. When you have an approaching storm, we have preparations to make in an event like that. And if we have to stop now to go and rescue somebody who's just being, inconsiderate of the whole situation itself, that takes away our irresponsible. That takes away our response to say, well, look, we were supposed to be getting this prepared. We're supposed to be doing this. Or we're supposed to be doing that. Where we have to now focus on trying to save the life of somebody who was just out there, horsing around. So we try to discourage that kind of stuff, because as you can appreciate, Commander Scotland and his team is busy trying to make sure that all the water areas are safe, and we at the same time are trying to make sure that we got things happening on land side. And if we have to draw away from that to focus on somebody having a great time, that in itself puts somebody else at a disadvantage. So we try to discourage that kind of behavior.
Now, Commander Scotland, we know that the UK has some maritime assets in the region during the hurricane season, and so after, are you involved in sort of any coordination with them in the event that they have to come to the Cayman Islands?
Yes, as you're aware, there is usually a Royal Navy vessel traveling behind the storm. We have in the past worked with them, depending on the side of the island that the impact is and the areas that are clear. We will at times, or we will serve as a guide for them coming through the channels, depending on where they are and the vessels they have on board.
Okay, so we're going to talk some more now about after the hurricane. Who wants to take it over first? Go right ahead, whoever wants to grab the mic.
Well, after the hurricane, as we all know, there's a before, during, and after. So after the hurricane it can be the busiest point, because one of the things is the all clear, and when the all clear is given. But generally, people take their own initiative in terms of the all clear. They don't wait for the all clear to be given by the authorities. They just tell themselves, look, outside is bright, the storm is gone, I'm going to go around and take photos of damages and stuff like that. From the policing perspective and the law enforcement perspective, that's why we speak, when we talk about preparing, having important documents, valuables and stuff because people who leave home, their properties sometimes could be vulnerable. So generally after a storm, we do get at times an influx of reports of theft and stuff like that, especially depending on how long the period is, or if the period is an overnight period, where that, for sure, generally the only people that are on the road during storms and stuff like that are police, law enforcement, people who are reason to be there, and then people who definitely don't have a reason to be there at times. So that's where the patrols and stuff come into play, check-in and stuff. But it falls back to being prepared as a person going into a storm, being prepared, having your documents, having your important jewelry and everything else that are dear to you, have them secured and stuff like that. In addition to that, we do our patrols, our checks, feedback into the command center as to the roads that aren't clear, the roads that are clear. We go early to do the early inspections. Once we get clearance from the command center, go do the early inspections and feed that back into the command center. As well as, depending on how serious it is, there's always the option for curfews through the Commissioner of Police, the Governor, Hazard Management, and Cabinet. We don't just take that lightly. By law, it goes through 4 different persons in order to get it signed off on. But that's an option available, and it's something that people often question why we didn't do it in this particular time. But it's just so the public would know that it's something that's taken very seriously. because we're taking away their liberty, our liberties. So it's something that's taken very seriously and is written into law that there's a specific set of steps that we have to go through in order to get there.
I think just coming in on coming in on that with Wade. Prior to the impact, what will be disseminated will be an advisory for persons to be off the road at a certain time, and that usually goes in when it's anticipated or experienced that there are sustained winds over 40 miles per hour. There's a specific reason for that number. That vehicles will become unsafe on the road. So we would ask people to exercise good judgment and be responsible citizens and comply with those warnings when they go out. The same for after the hurricane passes. Wade was speaking about the all clear being given. A lot of people over the years, and we've all experienced this, where people take it on themselves to go on the road without the all clear having been issued. The problem with that is the roads are still unsafe. Either there's still sustained winds over 40 miles per hour, or even when the winds subside past 40 miles per hour, the roads are still not clear. The cleanup crews have not been out. There are live electrical lines down in the water. There's also the possibility of intermittent gusts of wind that will move items around. So again, you wait until you hear the all clear given before you go out. Unfortunately, we have a lot of people who don't exercise good judgment, and they don't exercise being responsible citizens. Okay. And as such, they put themselves, their family, and they put other emergency responders at risk.
Yeah. Mr. Dak.
I would just add to that as well. I completely agree. And, I think there's quite a lot of pioneering and community spirit when a storm hits, and a lot of people want to go out and, check their community is safe, check on damages, etc. But it's really, you've got to have the understanding that there's already a lot of things in motion in terms of route clearance going on, emergency services moving around, and we do receive a lot of reports to the National Emergency Operations Centre following storms. So we very quickly build up a really good operating picture of that impact. And that sometimes becomes overwhelming when you have well-intentioned members of the community calling in, but there's a level of information we already have in place. So,
and just to touch on that as well as Commander Scotland and Chief Inspector, is that as much as you may want to help, sometimes you trying to help or being out there to get involved puts the job a harder job in other words, and the thing is, like Commander Scotland talking about wires down and different things, we have debris, and even depending on what sustained winds are still, or what gusting are, you have flying debris, you have zinc, you have a number of different things that can put a person at risk. For us, it's the same as when the wind subside and say, well, it's time for us to go and do an assessment. We have our team from the service that will join with all the other parties and do a quick assessment. Well, this road is blocked. This road is possible. We can get here. We can get there. We had to move this tree out the road. We had to do. And one of the things I emphasize on, as much as CUC may have shut the power because of the magnitude, we don't know that. You don't know that as a civilian, knowing that whether that wire down is a live wire or a dead wire. And so we try to discourage people from going out, because at the end of the day, it could be just a wire that's still live. Who knows? And you're putting yourself at risk unnecessarily trying to get out there and see what's happening. I mean, we are a society of people that want to know what's taking place, and we don't want to wait and follow rules and guidelines.
And especially with social media these days, right?
Everybody wants to be the first, So, but what I'm trying to say is that we need to be smart about this. We need to know that if you're out there and you get into problems, then you're putting the emergency services out there as well, trying to save in an environment that may not be suitable, to that. So just heed the warnings and just be patient about it. We will get to that point where you'll be safe for you to go, and safety is a key element.
Okay. Before I invite you gentlemen to give some final comments, I want to go back over to Chief Inspector Chase, and you have a very important asset with the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, especially after a hurricane, which is the helicopter. experience from Hurricane Ivan, for instance. We had to wait basically until the support vessel arrived, and then we could get an assessment of what was happening throughout the island, by being airborne. Can you speak to that very important asset that you have now?
Definitely. Thank you for your question. In addition to the helicopter, the 2 helicopters really, what we do also have is 3 drones and several drone operators throughout the organization that also go to do the damage assessments along with the X-ray unit, so to speak, that does the initial assessments once it's safe to do so. They then feed it back into the command center, all the various areas in which they're checked. Cayman Brac as well, there's a drone there. Well, the last hurricane they had, there was a drone on Cayman Brac as well that was able to do the assessment over there as well. So we do go out and do the assessment throughout the islands, wherever the damages may be greater, and pass it back into the command center. One of the key things is also photographs, taking photographs in situ as well, that they usually do during that period. Mr. Scotland, you want to add to that in terms of
No, I don't really think so. Okay. You've covered it quite nicely.
Yeah. So we're going to go around the table for final comments. We'll start with Mr. Nathan Dack and go around the table.
Sure. I think the message is coming up again and again that people need to assure their own preparations. There's some great information out there on caymanprepared.ky. Speak to hazard management. And it's a community effort. If you are close with your neighbours, then make sure they have their preparations in place with your wider family and community generally. And really, for our own understanding as well, just making sure, for instance, our own reservists have their preparations in place. They have those agreements with their employers, and the employers have this understanding of the benefit of their involvement with the regiment. But yeah, I would just hope that we have a relatively calm season and that everyone stays safe, and all the best for the future.
Okay, Commander Scotland?
I think just going back to be prepared, ensure that you have your personal plan. More importantly, test your personal plan. Follow all the warnings that are being broadcasted. Think and act responsible. Ensure that whatever decision you make and whatever action you take doesn't do anything to detract from the population.
And always rely on the reliable sources for, as far as information is concerned as well, the official sources.
Always listen to the official sources.
Deputy Chief?
For me, is like I said, based on what Mr. Dack and Mr. Scotland have said already, it's the same for us. It's just, follow the plan, test your plan, get all your preparations in place. Like I said earlier, and when we started to speak about it, is that safety is key. And one of the things is is we have a tendency to want to wait till the last minute to get things done. Here we have an opportunity to get a lot of stuff out of the way. Buy your personal needs, buy your stocks, get your batteries. Stay away from candles. As far as your generators, I just want to emphasize on that, after the hurricane, that, just about every household probably has a generator. Put it in a safe space to work. Keep it from enclosed areas, your gas containers from enclosed areas. We don't want that you've just survived the hurricane and through negligence, you've caused your family harm. So I just want to emphasize on those things, is that, to make sure that you think about, smartly how you're going to place your generators. If you're going to use one, where you're going to place it, where you're going to store your fuel. Like I said, stock up on batteries, flashlights, instead of using candles and stuff like that, and just have your plans in place, and I'm quite sure the same sentiments as that. Hopefully we have a quiet season, and all the best for all our communities.
Okay, Chief Inspector.
For me, I just want to use the opportunity to commend the Emergency Servicing Hazard Management team and everyone who works during the hurricane season. Because having been part of this team for several seasons, I can say that they're going to overdrive during the period, making sure that they prepare, making sure that the members of that they get the messages out and everything is in place. And I also want to commend the community, because generally we don't have a lot of reports coming in. People behave generally well at the shelters, and people act properly. Knowing that it's an emergency, they work together, they come together and stuff like that, generally as members of the public. So that's a big commendation to the Cayman Islands public as well. And for me, just be prepared. Thank you.
Okay, now very quickly, someone mentioned earlier about supporting the more vulnerable. And we know that you have the search team, within the clusters, as well. But again, reminder, for those persons out there who know others who may be vulnerable, who may need assistance, what do we say to them?
Well, I think there is there's a register kept of all of the old and infirm, the persons in need, and that's just not elderly, but everybody. That list is actually maintained by the ambulance service, and they reach out to the various emergency service support entities. The regiment in the past has helped save people. They lean very heavily on the fire service, especially in low-lying areas.
Yep.
They reach out to the police. To date, we haven't had any calls for people living on the canal, but if that did come in, again, we're a search and rescue. We're an emergency service response. So wherever there's a need, we'll be there.
Okay. And the thing for us, is like I said, we work so collaborative. Is like one brain just operating. So we pretty much know what each other's needs are and what each other's capabilities are. So we make it work.
Definitely. Gentlemen, I want to thank you all for being here, and thank your respective agencies for all that you do to help to keep the people of the Cayman Islands safe, not only during hurricane season, but throughout the year as well. Sometimes you may think it's a thankless task because of, there are always critics out there and always people who believe, the armchair critics who believe that they know more than anyone else. But again, thanks for all that you and your organizations do to help to keep the people of the Cayman Islands safe as well. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we will have other guests in the studio, so don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Thank
you. Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
This summer, choose from 10 international destinations for your vacation with Cayman Airways. Explore New York, discover Denver, roam Los Angeles, play in Tampa, shop in Miami, tour Panama, uncover Havana, hike in La Ceiba, jam in Kingston, or relax in Montego Bay. Connecting flights are also available from the sister islands. Cayman Airways offers more international non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline, and the lowest rates for checked bags. Book today at CaymanAirways.com, download our new mobile app, or call Cayman Airways reservations on 949-2311. Come fly with us and relax with your uniquely Caymanian airline.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At Valley Med Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Boddentown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin are the popular 7-in-1 immunity support.
Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Town. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecast, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. For those of you who are just joining us, I'm your guest host. My name is Orrett Connor, and in this segment we will be talking about World Blood Donor Day. That conversation will take place with representatives from the Health Services Authority and the Blood Bank, Ms. Christine Miranda and Mr. Micheal Henry-Parchment. Micheal Henry, that sounds like royalty almost, the name Micheal Henry. So good afternoon, welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Yes, you wanted to say something about that name. Go right ahead, Micheal. Go.
Probably not royalty as best of my knowledge, but hey, appreciate it. It's a nice name.
Yes, it is.
Thanks to my father and my mom.
Yes. So let's tell our listeners and our viewers what World Blood Donor Day is all about and why do we celebrate it?
All right, so World Blood Donor Day is observed worldwide every June 14th. And it's just basically to thank donors, for their life-saving contributions. And it also raises awareness about the need for regular blood donation to ensure all individuals have access to safe and quality assured blood and blood products. Because, when blood is needed, only blood can, do, right? There's no substitute for blood. Yes, correct.
Okay. Is there a theme for this year?
As a matter of fact, yes. The theme for World Blood Donor Day 2025 is Give Blood, Give Hope, Together We Can Save Lives. So as Christine said, it's all about raising awareness and saying thank you and how we appreciate those that donate and provide this life-giving product for the people that need it.
Okay, and so then, why is blood donation so particularly important here in the Cayman Islands?
Yeah. So, as population grows, or also the demand increases, right? So, as you can see, we have so much trauma that's going on island. One accident alone, can use more than 10 units. And of course, we do also treatments on island, like for cancer patients, something like that. We have newborn infants who are premature, pregnant moms. We have dialysis patients who uses blood regularly. So, so there's really a need for us, to supply this. And at the same time, at HSA, we are only the collection center. So we distribute blood to all hospitals on island. Yeah.
So it is not unusual sometimes then to hear for calls for blood donors, either after a tragic event or sometimes even during regular times. Why is that call made then? Is it because you have exhausted your resources, or you want to ensure that you don't end up exhausting your resources?
Yeah, usually when those calls go out, it's more a situation where, we anticipate that the need is going to be great. So we're doing that to make sure that we have adequate supply to fulfill whatever need we have ongoing at the time. And what I'll add to that is that usually when they go out, the response is always great. It's overwhelming, actually, from the community. So that's a really good sign.
Anything you want to add to that, Ms. Miranda?
Yes. So time and time again, whenever, we have shortage of a particular blood group, we send out to social media, or even we use radio to put out there that there is a critical need for that sort of blood type. And we always get overwhelming response, which is, we are happy about it. So at least we won't worry, and at the same time, when we don't have enough supply, we ended up, purchasing overseas. And again, not all the time they have what we call licensed products to send to us. So the goal is, we need to sustain our need.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now, do we have an idea of what percentage of persons know their blood type?
Ooh, that's elicited a response from me automatically. I would say not many, not the majority, probably. I'd be surprised if that was the case. So if I was being generous, I would say 50-50, but it's probably a little bit less. So maybe 40-60. 40% probably no.
And what is the most common blood type?
Well, most common blood type is O positive, right?
Okay.
And O negative is the unit, or it's a blood type that can be safely given to everybody. But then again, there's just a small fraction of the population who has that type.
Which one?
The O negative. Yes. So, we can say that O positive can be given to anyone safely also, next to O negative.
Okay. Let's talk about some of the benefits of blood donation as well. I know I have friends, who donate regularly as well, and then there are some who may be called upon, as well, because for whatever reason. Let's talk about some of the benefits. It's got to be a feel good thing as well, to know that you're doing something to assist your fellow your fellow human being.
Sure, I'll go ahead and start. Like you said, Mr. Connor, the first thing, or the most obvious thing, is the fact that you know that you are giving back to the community. And when I usually like to question donors sometimes when I get the opportunity, and one of the main things that, comes out readily is like, I just wanted to give back. So that's usually probably one of the number one reasons. And also, again, on examination of donors, you ask them questions like, hey, what got you started? When did you start? How young were you when you started? And in the case of donors that are very young, some of them, usually, it's because they know somebody or a situation that occurred that an individual needed blood. And they were like, hey, let me see what I can do. It's not that difficult, right? It doesn't seem that hard. I can do that. And that's what got them started. And they, in the case of many of them, they just kept it up for the years afterwards. So that's pretty good.
Okay. Anything you want to add to that, Miss Miranda?
You already talked about it.
And here in the Cayman Islands, we don't pay blood donors as well. I know there are some jurisdictions where blood donors are actually paid for donating their blood.
Yeah. So
is there any sort of ethical question there in terms of that?
Not really, to my knowledge, but we are following guidelines from Pan American Health Organization that their mandate should be 100% voluntary. So yes, so up to now we're keeping that, And in fact, we are like one of the best blood banks in Western Hemisphere because, of keeping that mandate.
That standard.
That standard, Yeah.
Okay, we're going to, we still have enough time. We won't go to a commercial break yet. So let's talk about those persons who will benefit from blood donations as well, because that may help with persons who may be listening now to realize that, oh, look, here's what I can do, to benefit, someone as well, if they recognize some of these instances where that people do benefit from it.
Yes, for sure. As you say that, what comes to mind? I mean, I know Christine mentioned earlier, like, accidents and trauma. Those are obvious. Those are pretty obvious. But in the case of like more chronic illnesses, when something, I'll interject this here. I never thought to just say this, but since you brought it up, a lot of people, we enjoy relatively good health. You don't really think about it, but it's not until you know someone that has a chronic illness, lifestyle illness. Well, not necessarily a lifestyle illness. Could be hereditary. They had no control over it, and they suffer with different kinds of illness. Things like sickle cell, thalassemia. These are not great things for people to have, and it really can affect your quality of life. In the case of sickle cell and some other, it shortens your lifespan. Decreased quality of life, shortened life, and just to know that some of these individuals, these are just a small portion of some of the individuals that can benefit from transfusion, regular transfusion at some interval. And you see how it can affect them, how it can help. I think that should be enough to maybe wake some people up. And also in the addition of, unfortunate people that get cancer and they need chemotherapy, undergoing chemotherapy. Blood and blood products are very useful for individuals like that. So some people might not be aware, but like I say, it is kind of that situation if you know, when you encounter it, then you understand. So my encouragement is don't wait for that. Don't let that, you don't have to wait for that to wake you up. You can be a little proactive and, hey, say, it's not difficult. Like I said before, just go ahead and do it.
Okay, so we're going to talk and try to convince them when we return from the commercial break, we can talk about the blood donation process, what the process is all about as well. And hopefully there are people out there listening who do donate. And if you don't, and if you want to donate, we will pass that information on to you as well. And if you do donate, please send us a message via our WhatsApp number 925-3261, and we can share your views to our audience about the benefits of donating blood as well. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
Subway and Oreo has changed the dessert game. Introducing the Oreo Footlong Cookie, a full 12 inches of chocolatey, creamy goodness. It's big, it's bold, and it's here for a limited time. Perfect for sharing or not. We won't judge. Want it fast? Order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app for quick pickup and earn loyalty points, or get it delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Don't wait. Treat yourself today. The Oreo Footlong Cookie is calling your name. Subway. Eat fresh. Snack sweet.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
This summer, choose from 10 international destinations for your vacation with Cayman Airways. Explore New York, discover Denver, roam Los Angeles, play in Tampa, shop in Miami, tour Panama, uncover Havana, hike in La Ceiba, jam in Kingston, or relax in Montego Bay. Connecting flights are also available from the sister islands. Cayman Airways offers more international non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. And the lowest rates for checked bags. Book today at CaymanAirways.com, download our new mobile app, or call Cayman Airways reservations on 949-2311. Come fly with us and relax with your uniquely Caymanian airline.
Freedom, Cayman Rack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
We are now in the hurricane season, and to survive a hurricane, you need to be informed. If you have been informed by official sources that a hurricane is approaching the Cayman Islands, and you live in a low-lying area that is prone to flooding or near the beaches, which may be swept by high tides or storm waves, please seek a safe place and high ground. If the only way for you to get to a safe place is a road that is also likely to be flooded during a storm, please leave home early. Don't run the risk of being stranded. This has been a public service announcement from your community station, Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. I am your guest host, Orrett Connor, and it's my pleasure to have in the studio with me this afternoon two members of the Health Services Authority. They work at the blood bank, Miss Christine Miranda and Mr. Micheal Henry-Parchment. So we're talking about blood donation and World Blood Donor Day as well. So we got to the point where we are talking about the process of blood donation, because it is extremely important. You've heard our panelists talk about the fact that we have a ever-growing population here in the Cayman Islands, which means that the possibility of the demand for blood increasing is always there, either by way of vehicular accidents and needing blood, or some persons, who have certain types of illnesses that will require blood donation and transfusions as well. So let's talk about what the process includes. Ms. Miranda.
All right. So they can go to our website, bloodbank.ky, to check if they are eligible, right? Yes, so they can fill out the questionnaires in there, and they can also schedule their appointment, right? So after, of course, we need to review also the questionnaires. If they're taking in medications, although most medications, they should be eligible, but we wanted to make sure, that the blood that they will be donating won't affect the recipient, right? So after we check the questionnaire, of course, we need to do a mini physical wherein we check their blood pressure, the pulse rate, their hemoglobin or hematocrit. So to see if, they are not anemic and they have enough to donate, right? Yeah. So the donation process normally takes like about 10 minutes, right? But the overall from, filling out the forms, from mini physical and the donation, it takes like about 20 to 30 minutes. And of course, after they donated the pint of blood, we're not just letting them go away, right? We need to let them sit for at least 5 to 10 minutes and give them some refreshment afterwards.
Okay. Yeah. And as a donor, their personal information is protected by the Freedom of Information Act as well, right?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. And when a person says, "Well, I'm giving up,"
and as a donor, their personal information is protected by the Freedom of Information Act as well. Of course, seems to be.
I'm getting a feedback there, Paul. I'm not sure if that's AI or what, but somebody's repeating what was said there. Still hearing it. We're still hearing it on our headphones. Oh, yes. That's exactly where it is, I believe.
Yep.
That was interesting. I could have conducted the interview right
This
there.
AI has come up before.
Yes. So, person says, I just gave a pint of blood. I just gave away part of my blood. Is that really the case? How do we, as far as our bodily functions are concerned, how do we replace the blood that we give?
I mean, in a general healthy person, your body is a wonderful machine, and it's going to manufacture or remanufacture those cells. Everything's going to be replaced. The main thing at the instance of donation that you want to make sure is that losing that blood, your blood volume is decreasing. So you want to make sure you replace that. So usually just by drinking, you can replace the fluid. So drinking some water, maybe some juice afterwards, you should be good to go. And based on the requirements, like I think Christine alluded to, we have to screen them first to make sure that they themselves would not be needing blood before they donate. So, you have to be in good general health. And if that's the case, they'll be fine. Some individuals, she talked about hemoglobin. If they come in and their hemoglobin is really high, they can donate. They won't even miss it. They walk out of there and go and have a normal day. If you run a little bit lower, at the most, you might just feel a little bit tired. So it's relatively safe.
Okay, and how often can a person donate?
Okay, so for males, they can donate every 3 months. For females, every 4 months. And we also collect platelets now at the blood bank, so they can donate once per month. Yeah.
And can you for our audience who do not know the whole concept of platelets, can you explain to them for
All
us?
right. So we have a machine now. We are equipped with a machine, right? We basically hook up a donor, and the machine will separate or extract the platelets from the whole blood, right? So once it extracted the platelets, the rest of the blood will go back to the donor. Yes. So the procedure normally lasts for like an hour or 1.5 hours. It's longer because it takes a while for the machine to extract the platelets needed. So the difference of platelets with red blood cells is the shelf life is shorter, which is just 5 days. Yes, as compared to red cells, the shelf life is 35 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, who are those persons that are actually eligible to donate?
In general?
Yes, in general.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Like we said before, general good health. Are there any? What are the major requirements?
Ages?
Right. So you're looking at individuals between 18 to 60, and you can donate. They can donate younger, like at 17 years old, with parental or guardian consent. They're also eligible to donate. It's not a problem. There is a weight limit. I think it's
50 kg.
50 kilograms. Okay, there it is. So it's a pretty wide margin of individuals.
And suppose I just recently had myself tattooed. Would I be eligible to donate?
Oh, okay. For tattoos or piercing, we have 3 months deferment period before you will be able to donate blood. I know there's a wrong notion out there, like, oh, I have tattoo, I cannot donate. It's a no. So if you have your tattoo for like years,
incorrect.
yeah, it's just the recent one that we are after,
And why is that? Why recent tattoos?
Because we cannot guarantee when you have a tattoo, right? We cannot guarantee if the needle that they use is sterile, right? So from that time you had your tat until maybe 3 months. If in case they use unsterile needle, then you should have like maybe the signs of symptoms.
It would be able to detect it, hopefully, in the screening.
In the screening, yeah.
And the screening, that involves some sort of a hemoglobin test? Is that?
Well,
no.
not different from the
different?
hemoglobin, but
Okay.
it's more all units. The check that she mentioned in the beginning is really for the donor.
Okay.
So you're checking the health of the donor to make sure that they are safe to donate. Number one, eligible, so not a high-risk individual. You say like, well, this might not work, but general good health, so they can donate safely. The next step after that is that once we collect the products are screened because we want to ensure the safety of the recipient. So it's on the two fronts. It's to protect donor as well as the recipient, because everything has to be just perfect.
One of our listeners wanted to know whether or not, and I think you mentioned this before actually, whether or not if a person is suffering from sickle cell, whether or not they can donate. But I think you did mention the fact that a person with sickle cell may be a recipient, one of the potential recipients of blood transfusion or blood donation.
Right. I'll probably defer to Christine on the official stance or to help me with this, but if you had the full-blown disease, I don't think you'd be able to donate in the first case. But usually it's individuals, and probably not just limited to sickle cell, but if there are carriers, because the disease is not fully manifested, they might be able to slip it into the donor pool, which it's usually not going to cause an issue. But in some cases, if we find out or they mention it, we might recommend that it's probably better that they don't.
Yes.
But in those cases, they would be passable in terms of their general health, if that makes any sense. But in the full-blown disease, I'll just reiterate, more than likely it wouldn't be possible because their levels would be too low.
Okay, we're going to go to our headline news. When we return, we want to talk about the fact ask the question whether or not there have been any changes in terms of donor eligibility here in the Cayman Islands or worldwide, or with the Pan American Health Organization, which it appears as if we follow their guidelines and their protocols as well. Folks, don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Since 1976.
Covering Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, and right. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Jeffy Ebanks. The National Roads Authority announces roadworks at the Frank Sound Road and Seaview Road intersection on Thursday, the 12th of June, from 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Motorists are urged to exercise caution in the active work zone as the road surface may be uneven. Drivers should stay alert, follow posted speed limits, and adhere to all signage, including temporary diversions. The NRA advises the public to plan accordingly. In regional news, Suriname police have detained a 36-year-old soldier in connection with the death of a man found in a vehicle with a gunshot wound on the 2nd of June. The case is being investigated by the Capital Crimes Department alongside the Parambiro Investigation Assistance Team and the Police Intelligence Service. After consultation with the Public Prosecution Service, the soldier, attached to the National Security Directorate, was transferred to the military police for further investigation. Authorities plan to conduct an autopsy to determine the official cause of death. In other regional news, Belizean authorities have issued a warning about online gaming websites falsely claiming to hold a gaming license from Belize government. The government confirms that there is currently a moratorium on issuing online gaming license, meaning no companies are legally authorized to operate from the country. The Ministry of Investment, Policy and Compliance Unit urges internet users to avoid engaging with these unauthorized entities and reminds the public that gaming activities in Belize requires official licensing from the Gaming Control Board under the Gaming Control Act. Authorities have ordered all companies falsely claiming a Belizean gaming license to cease operations immediately. That's your latest headlines. I'm Jeffy Ebanks.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman Talk Today continues.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. We're talking about World Blood Donor Day 2025, which will be on the 14th of June. That conversation is taking place with Miss Christine Miranda and Mr. Micheal Henry-Parchment from the Health Services Authority. So we want to remind our listeners and our viewers of the theme of World Blood Donor Day as well.
The theme of Blood Donor Day 2025, give blood, give hope. Together, we save lives.
Okay, and one of our listeners want to know, what if they don't know what their blood type is?
That is an easy thing for the blood bank to solve. Just come and visit us and sit in the chair, fill out the questionnaire. Let's try the donation, and I can assure you at some point we'll let you know your blood type. So that's one way.
That'll be the reward, right? And when they do know that their blood type, should they secure that information somewhere, because it's easy to forget. Even though how many blood types you have? You got six. Okay, so.
Or 8, sorry.
8? Okay.
Yeah.
So you could easily get confused.
If they have is it health portal, the HSA health portal?
Okay.
Oh.
Yes, it should appear in their health portal.
Mm-hmm,
Yes. Otherwise, if they don't have that, we normally issue a sticker or a donor card with a sticker bearing their blood type.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever they come in and donate blood, they can update it. So to keep track, when was the last time they donated?
Donations.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about eligibility, the rules for eligibility, as well.
Yes. So as of September 2023, individuals who live in UK between 1980 to 2001, who were previously deferred because of the Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, or what we call mad cow, right? Or they are now eligible to donate blood here in Cayman Islands. So this is in keeping or adapting also the changes that made by Pan American Health Organization, WHO, and AABB. So yeah, since 2023, we lifted here on island, and everyone is welcome now to donate blood, regardless of where they come from, overseas.
Yeah.
What type of impact does one single blood donation have in terms of a person's health or even their life? The impact.
How do we answer that question? All right, let me.
About how many lives can one donation save?
That is the
2,
question.
3, 4.
That is the question we often get, and I think it has been answered by someone.
Yes.
And I do take it to task, because I really want to know how they come up with that answer. I think I'll go ahead and just air it. It says what each unit can save like up to 3 lives.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So that is circulating.
Yeah.
The truth of it is, though, that it takes a lot, and it all depends. It all depends on what's going on with the patient, because I hate to be slightly graphic, but I mean, if you can imagine a poor, unfortunate trauma patient that's bleeding out, it's going to take more than one unit, and which is why, again, we go through the whole, social media or the PR to get donors in, because we need to make sure we have substantial blood. Hence, again, I could tie in with the entire effort of World Blood Donor Day to raise the awareness, to let people know that, hey, this is something that we need, because it's not that simple. The reason I think where they got the 1 unit can save 3 lives, I think it has to do with the different products that you can potentially manufacture. So you can, at its maximum, you can make red bloods. You can separate whole blood from a donor into red blood cells, into plasma, and also to cryoprecipitate. So you get 3 components, ideally. And I think that's kind of where they came up with that. Not entirely accurate. It is a little bit more complex. So I think whoever came up with that, slap on the wrist maybe. But it's still important to make the contribution, again, because it is so important to make sure you have a supply that you can give to people in need.
Now, earlier in the show, we had representatives from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, from the Fire Service, from the Coast Guard, and from the Regiment talking about preparedness. As far as blood supply goes, do you do anything extra, anything special for hurricane season?
You know, it's so funny that we are kind of preempting this question.
It's funny. It's funny how the world works.
I know, right?
I was just sitting somewhere, and I was like, this question could pop up. and here we are.
We were just talking about it. Sure you're gonna ask that.
What do you have? What's your contribution, Christine?
Yes. So just like last year, right? Or previous years also, we have so much storms and even hurricane. So what we normally do is send out a PSA, public service announcement. And we get overwhelming support from the community. So that's how we prepare. Just like how we do like hurricane preparedness, we do also prepare for our inventory, because we don't know what's gonna happen. It's not like when we have emergency, it's not like everyone can come to the hospital to donate their blood. Yes, and again, of course, not just we collect it, we need to make sure that it's properly screened, that it is safe to give to our recipients. Yeah,
essentially, I'll tag on what you said there. Basically, what happens is that we anticipate, and funny enough, not only you asked specifically for storms, but I'd say the Dare Blood Bank staff, even weekends and holidays, we have to think about those. We really and truly, it's a testament to the people that are in charge of the laboratory and the blood bank service that kind of push us to make sure anything coming up, any big event or anything like that, they're like, what we essentially do is we collect the blood beforehand. So we check the ones that we can anticipate, and we make sure that we have enough stock in-house to cover, any potential things coming up. And it's really like I say, it's not a perfect science. It relies on people, and in that sense, you really have to anticipate what can happen. And it's kind of that thing, you prepare for the worst, expect the best, and prepare for the worst.
Now we also know that persons will react more. For instance, if they have a family member or a friend who may be involved in an accident and there's a call for blood. Now, they believe that they're actually donating to that person when in actuality they aren't, but they're still, donating and helping the process. Can you explain that, to people? So, if they hear, well, I gave blood today, but it didn't really go to John, you're still really, part of the whole process.
Yes.
And, fostering solidarity and that community spirit.
Yeah. So again, of course, even though they're donating that particular blood to their loved ones, it still needs to go through screening, right? So it takes like 2 to 3 hours to finish the full screen. And if their loved ones is needed right away, we don't want to hold it, because the patient is bleeding profusely. What can we do, right? So of course, we give what we have in the bank, right? They might not in some way directly help their loved ones, but at least, they can give it or they can donate it to someone else, It's just like part of their,
because you have to use someone else's blood, for that patient that you have.
Yeah. So
I think it's a little bit of a I think it just boils down to misunderstanding of how it works. Because the truth, in fact, the person might not even be, it might be your family member. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're a match. You could be different types. True. And so you just, something like that, you just address it it's just education. Just letting them know that, look, this is not exactly what happens, but don't let that defer you, because the same reason how they're getting blood is because somebody did what you're doing.
Yes.
So it's easy. It's easy to fix. It's just a simple misunderstanding. So you just gently tell them, because it's somebody donated and that's how it goes. It's just a misconception that some people have, that I donated and, it didn't go there. It doesn't quite work like that.
Yes.
But it's fine. It's the thought. Even the encouragement I give, I believe in gratitude and saying thank you. And even for individuals that might come to donate, and this is very important to me, you come to donate and somehow you end up ineligible. To me, it says a lot. And I always make a point of thanking that person, because it might sound cliche but it's not really. It's like you thought about it, you tried, you made the effort. And to me, I think that speaks volumes about that person. So, yeah, just sit in the chair, and the rest is history. It's a good thing to do. Both of us, I think, we donate. We're regular donors, and I absolutely love it. It's something I enjoy giving back. I don't even think about it. I just do it.
Yeah, I have done so as well.
Thank
not
you.
a regular donor, but I've done in the past. And
we appreciate you.
Yes. So we're going to take our last commercial break. When we return, we want to talk about any upcoming blood drives or events. How are we going to be celebrating World Blood Donor Day as well, folks? If you're just joining us, the conversation that is taking place with Ms. Christine Miranda and Mr. Micheal Henry-Parchment from the Health Services Authority, the blood bank. There we're talking about World Blood Donor Day, 14th of June, 2025. Please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
This summer, choose from 10 international destinations for your vacation with Cayman Airways. Explore New York, discover Denver, roam Los Angeles, play in Tampa, shop in Miami, tour Panama, uncover Havana, hike in La Ceiba, jam in Kingston, or relax in Montego Bay. Connecting flights are also available from the sister islands. Cayman Airways offers more international non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline, and the lowest rates for checked bags. Book today at CaymanAirways.com, download our new mobile app, or call Cayman Airways reservations on 949-2311. Come fly with us and relax with your uniquely Caymanian airline.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drportercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. We are on the last leg of the show this afternoon talking about World Blood Donor Day. That conversation is taking place with Miss Christine Miranda and Mr. Micheal Henry-Parchment from the Health Services Authority. We heard earlier about several things, and one of the messages that we want to talk about later, one of the questions that I'll have for them in relation to message for first-time donors, and you may have heard it before because Mr. Parchment did repeat it, but again, we're using this opportunity to try to solicit, to encourage more people to donate blood as well. So we're going to talk about first the upcoming blood drives or any other event that is taking place, and then we want to go on to what messages that we want to have for first-time blood donors.
All right. So for this month, we've been very busy. So we have scheduled blood drives once per week.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, by Thursday, we will be at Deloitte, one of our corporate partners. And next week, there's a group of Filipino or organization that they organize their thing also. And I think for the last week, we will be at Ritz-Carlton.
Okay.
And also, I'm fortunate enough to announce also by tomorrow, Rotary will gonna hand over to us the mobile blood bank bus. So there's something to look forward to. So maybe in the next few weeks, you'll see us all over, park somewhere. Come and say to us if you can't donate, or at least encourage your friends, family members to donate blood. So it's like when, it's reaching to the community, like not all have the time, to come to the blood bank to donate blood. So by means of the bus, I think you see that also in the States,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So they just park somewhere in the supermarket or in the mall.
Or any event that is drawing large crowds,
Yes, so 30 minutes of your time, to donate blood, that will make a difference to our patients.
And Mr. Parchment, again, the message for first-time donors?
Right, yeah, right on to that. I would say, easily, always encourage anyone to come and donate. A special shout out to young people out there. Being young has many challenges, but being a donor, I think, will encourage, should hopefully encourage you to push for a healthy lifestyle. I don't know where they are in life right now, but you look around you, you see so many people, some people suffering from poor choices. And I think with the advent of technology and all these things going around, you see kids with iPads today. And one of my hopes is that will allow, hopefully, people access to information and that they use it wisely. And along with that is that they would be able to make smarter decisions health-wise, become a blood donor, and adopt a healthy lifestyle. It's got a lot of perks. You can live a long, hopefully fulfilling life, enjoy a better quality of life, and that donating is just going to go just along the line with that. And in addition to what Christine said, I'll mention here, take the opportunity to mention that the Health Services Authority, that blood bank has served this island for more years than I've probably been here. And I think it's worth, mentioning. If you go there, it's two chairs, okay? That's all you're going to find, or at least in the old building that I know of, because I've only been here for, 40, 35 plus years or whatever. But that has served this island so well. And, here we are today enjoying the perks and the benefits of corporate donation, not only the blood bank from the units that we bring in, but we're able to go out into the not just the community, but the business community. They invite us in, we go, we have successful drives with minimal disruption because, a lot of people, time is a precious commodity.
Yes.
You don't have it in abundance. You have to, again, make wise choices, choose how you spend it. So if we can go into the business space and just take a couple of minutes of their time and have them donate, and we can walk away with 35, 40 units, that's a big plus for everyone. You know, it's showing the company giving back to the community. We're getting product that, you know, otherwise would take us longer times to get.
Yes.
And now here we are on the horizon with the blood bank bus, which is going to allow us to go into the rest of the community. So as Christine said, you might see us parked up, you know, anywhere, maybe in a shopping plaza.
You meet people where they are instead of them having to come to you, right?
Anywhere. And so my hope and my expectation is that is going to allow us to reach the community even closer than we've been able to previously. And so it's just another opportunity to make it easier for anyone out there that's interested to just come and donate some blood, become a donor and support the cause. Really appreciate that.
And let's give a big shout out again to the organization that is donating that mobile unit.
Yes, it's Rotary. Thank you so much. And there are also other donors, but
we don't have the list.
Sorry,
okay,
but this is an initiative by the Rotary.
Okay.
We were very thankful to them for so many years. They are our partner. You know,
and we know Mr. Carl Brown
Of
is
course.
he's a major driver
Yes,
behind
he
all
is.
of this as well.
Yes,
Yes.
Yep.
Kudos to him. He does so much work, so much good work, you know, as well. You know, he's an unsung hero,
Yes,
you know,
he
as far as
is.
the Cayman Islands
Yes.
is concerned. So what do we say to those persons who are unable to donate blood? How can they support the effort?
yeah. So if they aren't able to donate blood, maybe, you know, they have
Health
illness,
issues,
health
maybe, yeah.
issues, maybe they can, you know, promote awareness. Everyone has, you know, iPhone or tablet right now. It's accessible. They can just share. They can go to our Facebook page, you know, and get more information about what we do. And in fact, we will also be rebranding our website so it will be more up to date. And like what I've said, for the mobile bus, they can track where we at for that day.
Okay.
So, you know, to give more access to the community for those donors who are willing, because, you know, sometimes some of them don't have cars, right? Or car breakdown. So, yeah. So we are very thankful with this mobile bus. So at least, you know, we can reach more potential donors.
And you, as an entity of the Health Services Authority, how can a blood bank then ensure that you continue to maintain a stable supply of blood?
That's an interesting question. I'm looking at my notes here. Oh, okay. I got it. Well, the supply of blood is, I'll be honest, it's not something that I've really worried about of late. And I think that is in part of the incredible work by the department. As I said, the corporate donation. How long have we been doing corporate donation, roughly?
I think
It's a few years now.
5 years now.
Wow, 5
Yes,
years.
5 years.
I can attest to that. Like, I just gave you the story, you know, coming from the 2 chairs at the hospital. And I can tell you that when we started going into the community, we have enjoyed, you know, a surplus of donors. It's helped us so much, because before that, I will admit, sometimes it's a struggle. It was a struggle because, you know, you have to call people in and you have to keep doing that. We still do that. But having the corporate donation has taken a load off of our shoulders, so to speak. It has made it so much easier. And that is why we are so grateful for that. It has helped tremendously. And then the next big surge that we experienced was when we talked about the removal of the restriction for Creutzfeldt-Jacobs disease, which opened up the UK donor pool. Because I mean, you have guys that have been here for years, and they're like, "Oh, we want to donate." I've got the stories. Christina's got the stories. Like, but you don't want our blood. And you explain to them, it's like, it is not like that.
Yeah.
You know, I would be more than happy to take it, but we have to abide by the regulations.
Yes.
It's there. We assume it's there for a reason, right? And once we knew it was going to be eventually taken away. So it was just a matter of time. And when it went, we have their support.
Wow. Okay.
So we are enjoying the benefits of that. And I think if we continue on this trend with the addition of the bus, you know, you can ask Christine. she will tell you that we have a calendar there. That calendar is filled with drives.
Yes.
So the support from, and I think that's mainly, well, it's corporate and community, because we have different, Cayman has a huge transient population. So you have many people that come here, pass through, they're here for some period of time. They also support the cause, and we really appreciate them. And so our calendar is filled with events like that. So there's not a dull moment, really. And I just hope and pray that that continues. And if that does, we shouldn't have any issue with it. So that's all I'll say about that.
Did the pandemic pose any challenges as far as the blood bank and blood drive is concerned? I know we're past that now, but
yes,
I'm curious.
Not really, but people are adamant going to the hospital at that time. That's why we have an off-site collection down at Red Cross.
Right.
Okay. Yes, so we go there, I think twice a week before, just to collect blood. Yes, so it sustained us.
I will say, it was an interesting time. And I don't really know if I can go into all the details, but it was very interesting. Part of it is because that you had a few people moving. I don't know the numbers, but I know there was a lot of people moving around, leaving the island, so to speak. So as you would expect, that would naturally kind of decrease the use, or the need rather, not the use, but decrease the need for it. So to answer your question, it really kind of balanced it out. Okay. Like, it didn't really, in a way you would think like, oh my goodness, this is going to make it so difficult. But they put regulations in place. As Christine said, we had the Red Cross facility, so we didn't have to worry about people moving around. As a matter of fact, I would dare say that people enjoyed the opportunity.
Yes, because they were given a letter, right? They were given a letter so they can get out of their houses.
So yeah, like I said, I'm not going to say too much about it, but yeah, it was an interesting time. But funnily enough, like it was not a burden. Happily, it was not a burden. We were able to survive, and I will even mention that one of the communities, you had people leaving. And before they left, they made a point to donate before they left.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just to emphasize
commendable
the attitude of donors. It's really like that. And like I said, it's all about gratitude. I appreciate. You can't say thank you enough to people like that. You really can't.
Okay. I want to give both of you an opportunity for some closing comments as well. We'll start with you, Ms. Christine, and we will end with Mr. Parchment.
All right, so with the World Blood Donor Day, this is to remind us, not to take everything for granted, right? But I just want to highlight our donors, most especially the regular ones who always comes, even though we don't call them, they just show up, And at the same time, we wanted to encourage new donors, just like Micheal said, that a majority of our local donors are already in their 60s, 70s, wherein they will be retired soon. So, of course, we wanted the young blood, Yes, this is just to encourage, the young people out there that they can, if they want to start giving, back to the community, if they want to save lives, then, just donate their 30 minutes of their time. Come and see us to the blood bank.
Excellent. Mr. Parchment.
All right. In addition to that, I would just say, yes, don't take your good life for granted. I know I might be making it simpler than it is. A lot of different challenges, but pay attention to the good things that you have. Be grateful for what you have, and don't miss out on opportunities to give back. And then on the tail end of that, I always want to say, I will add with Christine's remarks, saying a big thank you to all of our donors, corporate donors, whoever you are, people that organize drives. We would not survive without you. We cannot survive. If we have a blood bank and no one to donate blood, then it doesn't really help. It doesn't work that way. So it goes without saying that we really appreciate what you do, and we hope that we enjoy your support for all the years to come. And also, I never like to leave out my hardworking people at home HSA, specifically in the pathology laboratory and the blood bank, because these are the hardworking people behind the scenes. When things happen, these are the guys that are working to make sure that everything goes smoothly and that people get this blood, this important commodity that is required to save lives and improve health. So that was my 2 cents on that. And thank you so much for the opportunity to speak.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here as well. And thank you and your colleagues at the Health Services Authority for all that you do to help to keep the Cayman Islands healthy and safe, and what you do to save lives as well. And I also want to thank our listeners, those of you who joined us today, those of you who sent in questions as well. I welcome you to join me tomorrow morning at 7:30 for the record. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to continue to bless these 3 beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Talk Today is also brought to you by Mike's Builders. Call 923-0706. Mike Builders. They make it.